Hi lovies, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us. You guys are the real MVP. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video.
I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys where more and more of the truth about, black people have been revealed, and this is actually making a lot of pan-colored people to be so uncomfortable. I'm just going to roll a clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment.
We have inherited lies. We have been betrayed by the American miseducation system.
I love the theme, American healing. But first, let's think about something. Where did America come from? Has it always been America? Or was it just created to be America? Who are the real Americans? America keep changing and changing and changing. Let's go back in time when the American Indians looked like I look and roamed the southeast part of the United States freely. I love what the mayor said. We have to tell the truth. We cannot heal America till we fix the foundation. Can we start right there?
Do you know that there were indigenous black people in the Americas, and they were Moorish black people, and that the chopping of the cherry tree of George Washington was him officially cutting off their inheritance and their history from ever being remembered, and that he had written and said that in 200 years, if we remove the turbans from their heads, the sandals from their feet, and we make them think that they are just like any other black people, that they will forget their entire history and their inheritance and the fact that they are indigenous to the Americas.
The lion heads are in Sedona. The Olmec, the statue of the Olmec in Sedona, you guys. Sedona, Arizona. Singing birds. These are bird beings, you guys. Again, bird beings are in the rock. These are ancient temples in Sedona from ancient Atlantis. They try to say that Atlantis is a fable, is a myth. No, it is not. It predates Kemet. Queens and kings of Sedona. Atlantean queens and kings. These are the queens and kings of Atlantis, carved within the rocks in Sedona. When water wears on rocks, then the appearance of them disintegrates. Look at that face right there. We are here. We have been here. We didn't come from no daggone Africa.
An ancient Egyptian city is found in the Grand Canyon, along with a sphinx. Here are before and after photos of how it looked before it was destroyed by the Europeans.
Explorer G.E. Kincaid took a boat down the Colorado River and through the Grand Canyon. The canyon was rich in minerals like gold, silver, and copper, and Kincaid wanted to see what he could find before the area was closed off for good. On the walls, he saw it was ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. G.E. Kincaid now realized he was in a huge complex. He estimated that as many as 50,000 people could have lived here. The rooms were full of ancient artifacts. Then he came across another large room, a crypt. The crypt had shelf upon shelf and row upon row of mummies, dozens of them.
A pyramid and a sphinx were found 7 miles outside of Natchez, Mississippi by a construction crew. The Dead Sea Scrolls were found in the United States of America, and they profited from the sale of them. An Israeli archaeologist purchased 4 Dead Sea Scrolls that were for sale, listed in the Wall Street Journal, for $250,000 on behalf of the newly established State of Israel. Most of the $250,000 that he received for the sale of the Dead Sea Scrolls actually went to the Internal Revenue Service in the United States. Why? Because they said the bill of sale was drawn up incorrectly. So if the Dead Sea Scrolls are found in the United States, sold in the United States, and the United States profits from the sale of the Dead Sea Scrolls, does that not tell you ancient Israel is actually in the United States? And guess what language those scrolls are written in? That's right, ancient Paleo-Hebrew. The Dead Sea Scrolls include fragments from every book of the Old Testament except for the book of Esther. You should be getting chills right about now, and alarm bells should be going off. You are now looking at an Old Testament map of ancient America with Egypt, the Egyptian Sea, Israel, Assyria, Babylon, and the Great Sea. I now present to you evidence that the slave trade happened in reverse. People were taken from the Americas into Europe and Africa. We all know the story about how Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. He headed straight to the Caribbean, where he went to places like Trinidad, Cuba, South America, and Hispaniola. But did you know that Christopher Columbus had established trade in sex slaves on Hispaniola, with victims as young as 9 years old? These are the colonizers' descriptions of what the native people look like from Canada all the way down to South America. It tells you that they're copper colored, that some of them are dark skinned. It says some are swarthy complexions, but we come in many different shades. Columbus sent 4 ships back to Europe loaded to capacity with 550 natives that were auctioned off at Mediterranean markets. He did several journeys. Columbus and his other European buddies raped, abducted, traded, and sold for sex indigenous women all over the Caribbean and South America. Christopher Columbus is responsible for forcing thousands of natives all over the Caribbean islands and South America into sex labor, as well as seizing, selling, and exporting native women and children to their fate as sex slaves. The result is a centuries-long process of genocide and colonization of indigenous people, including the enslavement of 2.5 to 5 million indigenous people, death of indigenous people by disease, murder, dismemberment, rape, land theft, destruction of animals and natural resources, starvation, removal, concentration camps, and forced religious conversions. Okay. So people who do such wicked things, how can they give you God? We know that Christopher Columbus did not go to North America, but other Europeans came and they did the exact same thing that Christopher Columbus did. All of these horrific things that the Europeans did to us indigenous people, it actually reduced the population by 90%. In addition to that, there were treaties that were made between our indigenous ancestors and the Europeans, which they broke every last one of them. There were actually peace treaties. An international law called the Doctrine of Discovery enabled Christopher Columbus to make 3 expeditions to conquer non-Christian people. Now, did you hear me? We were not Christians. The Doctrine of Discovery gave him the permission to come and Christianize us, turn us into Christians, and to export us everywhere, enslave us, and do all of the wicked things that these Christians did to our people. In 1493, Pope Alexander VI issued a papal decree that indicated more explicitly that only Christian rulers could legitimately claim land ownership in our lands. This is how they acquired our land for free. According to Columbus's notes, men seized about 5 women each as their concubines, while others marauded across the island in search of villages with gold. So they basically stripped us of all of our wealth, our homes, our land, and everything else of value that we had. And this is how they ended up becoming rich. It's a true story of Robin Hood, because they robbed all of our hoods. This is how they got their wealth. For women and children being valued 50 to 60% more than the men because of breeding purposes. This is how they ended up whiting out South America. Now these people are Hispanics. Hispanics, mestizos, are the end result of them raping our women and using them for breeding purposes. Do you realize that this Indian slavery that our ancestors went through was the antecedent to the sex trafficking that goes on today? The number of slaves in Europe during the period from 1500 to 1800 estimated to be just about over 2.5 million. Now, earlier, I mentioned that there were from 2.5 to 5 million. The rest of them were dumped in Africa. This is why there are Negroes in Africa today. I showed you that the Negroes are from the Americas. This is where the Negroes are at. This is where they are from. So how they ended up over in Africa is because this slave trade was actually told in reverse. They were taken from here, the Americas, up through Europe and down into Africa. And by the way, happy Columbus Day.
My seriously lovelies, there is a way at which, people would just keep on hiding the truth, hiding the fact, hiding the reality, thinking that one day all of those hidden secrets will not actually come into the surface, or will not go out there and everyone will just find out. Like, we have been, constantly lied to. Even the educational system, like even the second educational system, have refused to actually go into details. Like, it happens that everything that was told is even a lie. This same, lady, this same sister, I think I posted a video about her talking about the slave ship. It was said that some, slaves were taken from Africa down to, with some slave ships and all of that. And there is a founding of, they say that this founding revealed that there was no slave ship. Like, they have to go in there, dig it, and they now realize that there was no ship at all. So if there was any ship, so where was it? That means, are they trying to say that the story that have been circulating over the years that, these people, these European people went down to Africa to colonize people, brought them over and helped to build was all a force? But there is another, story which says that these colonized people, these European people that colonized everyone, and hid everyone's history, they found out that the real, people that dominated America, when they got there, they colonized the place as usual, unalived so many people, and enslaved them. Then some of them also went down to Africa to enslave people or colonize people from Africa and then bring them over. Even before they brought them over, the real indigenous people were already there, because they took over their land and properties, enslaved them, and claimed everything. But they still went ahead to thought of, since there are some people that look so copper like this, they have this brown skin like that of a copper, that means there should be people that looks like them, every other place. This is when they decided that they are going to go down to Africa to, they found out about Africa, colonize them, and bring, some people from there down to, So all of the stories are just something that is confusing. Now, in this, stitch that I stitched, the sister and the findings, it happened that they actually enslaved those people, took them to Africa, then brought them back. Like, oh my goodness, a lot of historical thing that I don't know if this is an out of keep on confusing us. Like, if there was no any slave ship that was found, how was it possible that there are people that are enslaved people from Africa that was taken to to the United States or every other place that slaves were sold. And if there was, why is it that the researchers, those, because there was a book she brought out one time, why is it that they were not able to find the remains of those sheep? But the one I am still very sure that it was told to me by my great-grandfather, he talks about the Igbo landing. This Igbo landing happened. They took some slave from the Igbo land. On getting to one, they decided that they were going to rebel about they rebelled against their colonizers, their masters, or whatsoever they call them then. And they unalived them. And they decided that instead of them to be enslaved, it's better for them to drown themselves. So my great-grandfather told me something like that, So this whole foundings and all of that is just getting me so confused sometimes. That means the slaves were... Anyway, lovelies, I saw this video and I find it very educating because, as you all know, I like anything that has to do with historical fact. I'm someone that loves it, and I decided to just bring it up here for a clarification. She was talking about how, we already know that there are indigenous people that, own the land, which these European people decided to colonize them and enslave them, brought other slaves to join them and all of that. My own question is that, is it that the slaveries are already, like, this enslaved people from this land were taken to Africa and then brought back to, I just want a clarification. That is why I brought this here for us to actually leave commentaries. If you read some of this book, if you already have knowledge of this, you should just leave it in a comment section, because it's just going to clear so many things or so many questions I have. Leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, do you get a huge favor to click on the subscription button, and I will see you.
Just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like this video, share, leave your thoughts, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.